Bonjour to welcome back to our channel. Today we are taking you to Blois. So, on y va. Today we take you to Blois, a city rich in history and incredible architecture.
Similarly to other cities along the river Loire, Blois prospered in the medieval times thanks to its proximity to the waterway.
In 1498, Louis XII raised Blois to the rank of a capital of the kingdom, which led to the incredible transformation of the city.
It remained the official residence of the monarchs and the royal court until the death of Catherine de' Medici in 1589. Hence the presence of a grand royal chateau that towers over everything in the area. We will be visiting it in a moment, so stick around.
It is still early morning in Blois, so the streets are calm, and it gives us an excellent opportunity to appreciate the small rue and the old houses as the city wakes up.
So the statue was built to commemorate the name of the street, which will translate to 3 keys. We don't know what these keys opened, maybe some Hôtel particulier on the street or not, so nobody knows. But the buildings around here are so beautiful, and now we're just trying to find ourselves morning coffee. So we found our coffee. Apparently this coffee shop has 4.5 rating, it's called Sims.
Even though we prepare ourselves for the trip, we always pass by the tourism office to get magnet, to get some recommendations what to do, because sometimes you cannot find things online, and sometimes they have private things that you can only get from the tourism office. And for that reason, I think you should, whenever you go to a city, you should always pass by a tourism office, which will help you a lot.
So we're gonna explore the old city. We have a guided tour of the main chateau, the royal chateau, in a bit. And yeah, so far the city is absolutely gorgeous. And the thing is, we're here in the early morning, so there are not so many people. It's so nice.
L'église Saint-Nicolas was built between 1138 and the beginning of the 13th century. Benedictine monks fled the Normans and found their refuge here in Blois. They carried the relics of their founder, Saint-Lô with them and built a monastery here, and the abbey in his name, Abbey Saint-Lô, which is now commonly known as L'église Saint-Nicolas.
The original abbey building was partially destroyed by the Protestants during the Wars of Religion, but was then rebuilt in 17th and the 18th centuries.
Currently half of it is closed because of the travaux, of the works. They're restoring it. Now we're walking towards the chateau, and opposite the chateau there is a house of magic. It's a museum that has the dragons come out of the building.
And we just wanted to go inside, but apparently it was closed in 2004. It's been 20 years, and there is a small paper on the door saying after 7 o'clock you can leave him a message, if he's still living. Actually, I'm not sure, but it's just crazy. And the boutique is still staying here without anyone. Maybe someone is running the business, but if someone was running the business, they wouldn't have kept the paper on the door. I don't know, it's just so weird.
You would think at the center of the city someone else would want that area, but no. Apparently the boutique is there for 20 years, just sitting there closed. Bizarre.
It feels as if we are on a movie set with old houses and narrow streets, taking us back to the Middle Ages.
That was great. We hope you guys liked it. Did you like it?
Yeah, it was creepy.
I thought some of the dragons looked like our Patsy cat, you know? It had the same kind of feel. She also comes out like that, you know? She's a very feisty girl.
The moment you enter Château de Blois, you realize this is a special and exquisite place to be. Not only is it imposing and monumental, but it is also an architectural history book in all its glory. It is a unique example of the evolution of French architecture that traverses from 13th to the 17th centuries.
You must remember, this chateau holds the stories of 7 kings and 10 queens.
From the inner courtyard, 4 distinctive facades greet you, each offering their own era.
The medieval fortress of the 13th century looks like it could be a religious building from the outside. However, as you will see a little later, it holds the States General Hall that integrates an old rampart and 3 towers into the wing built later under François I. But before we enter that wing, we would like to bring your attention to the wing of Louis XII, the king whose porcupine symbol can be seen everywhere.
By the way, porcupine symbol was chosen due to a peculiar belief of the time, that in a battle, porcupines would take their spikes out and shoot them at the opponent. They were seen as courageous and formidable animals, hence the original motto associated with the emblem, Cominus et Iminus, meaning from near and far, reflecting the animal's formidable defense, both at a distance and in close combat.
Louis XII from 1498 wanted a more modern comfort and therefore changed the medieval fortress into a more urban palace that followed the fashionable Gothic era of construction.
On the courtyard side, the open gallery offers a sheltered connection between the staircase towers. On the plaza side, the bricks support the equestrian statue of the king. Here you can already feel the beginnings of Italian artistic influence. Today, this wing hosts the Museum of Fine Arts
of the city of Blois since 1869. The presentation of the works is unrelated to the apartments created for the King Louis XII. This is a complement to the visit to the apartments of François I wing.
Back in 1850, the city of Blois wished to enhance local culture and established the Museum of Fine Arts in the François I wing. The collection expanded so quickly that by 1851, new rooms were necessary. It is therefore by 1869, after the restorations by Dubin in the Louis XII wing, the Museum of Fine Arts took its final place there.
We enter the wing of François I, who is known as Roi Bâtisseur, or the Builder King. Upon his ascension to the throne in 1515, François I began with this chateau, and since he was greatly inspired by the Italian Renaissance, the chateau became a great example of the style in France. The staircase of the Château de Blois is almost the centerpiece of the whole wing.
From here, François I and his court could be seen from the inside as well as the outside of the chateau, and being a man of a very tall complexion, it made sense to construct a staircase fit for him and his status.
As we go through the halls of the royal apartments, it must be mentioned that these are a reconstruction of what could have been, since a big part of the chateau was destroyed later by Gaston d'Orléans, brother of Louis XIII, to make way for the newer wing that we will visit later.
Here, visitors can marvel at the beautiful Queen's Chamber. According to tradition, it was in this room that Queen Catherine de' Medici died in 1589. The walls are decorated with the Queen's monogram, 2 C's intertwined with Henri II's ash.
The Queen's apartments are a great opportunity to evoke her day. When she gets up, she goes to Mass and then receives visitors. After lunch, the Queen receives ambassadors or distinguished guests. In the afternoon, women witness men's sporting exploits and can ride a horse, but most often they do the conversation, music or needlework. Finally, the public dinner is regularly followed by a concert or ball. The famous Le Studiolo, built by François I before 1520, is the only royal cabinet of the French Renaissance preserved. As with traditional Italian studiolo, this place was meant for reading, work, poetry, meditation and collections. However, due to its cleverly hidden closets that are only accessible via pedaling mechanism, there were rumors of Queen Catherine de' Medici allegedly hiding there many poisons that she could use against her opponents. In reality, these closets were used to contain art objects, and other ancient treasures.
Making our way through these incredible interiors, we find ourselves in the king's chamber.
It is decorated in reference to Henry III. The impressive size of the bed presented in this room and its decor recall the ceremonial function of the room. More than a space of rest, the king could also receive there or discuss with his close counselors.
It is apparently in this room that Duc de Guise was murdered at the order of Henry III.
On the second floor, we are met with the council room, where the king and his advisors gathered after the assassination of Duc de Guise.
We then descended into the large medieval hall, now called the State General Hall. It's one of the largest and oldest civil Gothic rooms preserved in France. And while this place is truly enormous, Sinan still managed to find a throne for himself.
And now we come to the most recent wing, constructed under the brother of Louis XIII, Gaston d'Orléans, Duc d'Anjou. He was the third son of Henri IV and Marie de Medici, and devoted a large part of his adult life to conspiring against his brother Louis XIII and Cardinal Richelieu, then against Anne d'Autriche, widow of Louis XIII, and Cardinal Mazarin, who finally exiled him to Blois in 1652.
Since the birth of Louis XIV, the finances diminished for the Duke, and therefore the wing was never finished. In fact, he never got a chance to live in it. The interior was gradually developed in the 19th century by the military who resided here, and then the city of Blois, which installed the municipal library and reception rooms there for a century. Only the entrance to the building is open to the public, where one can appreciate the dome that is François Mansart's masterpiece in Blois.
Speaking of François Mansart, we have done an episode on Château de Maison, his true masterpiece. It is linked in the description of this video.
And finally, we've left the best part of the chateau for last, La Chapelle Saint-Calais. Erected under Louis XII in parallel with his wing, it was consecrated in 1508. Due to the construction of the Gaston d'Orléans wing, its nave was cut and only the choir has remained to this day. It was first completely restored in the 19th century, then following the bombings of 1944. The stained glass windows made by Max Ingrand in 1957 tell the major episodes of the history of Blois.
Now we are on the way to Cathédrale, and right next to it there is also Hôtel de Ville, and we are trying to find the magnet. Apparently now we found it, but now it was in the office of tourism, and it's now on the other side, and we don't want to walk that much because this town is so bumpy and you need to go up and down, and it's good for the sport, but we are already a bit tired, but it's worth it. La Cathédrale Saint-Louis was rebuilt several times in the 12th, 16th and the 17th centuries. In 1678, it was almost completely destroyed by a hurricane. It was Colbert, who also owned Domaine d'Assaut, that we recently filmed an episode about, who interfered and helped the reconstruction of the cathedral.
The contemporary stained glass windows are the work of the Dutch artist Jan Dibbets, while those of the choir were done by Lobin in 19th century. We are now in the Roseraie garden, which is right next to the Hôtel de Ville, which is Mary. And we are surrounded by these amazing roses everywhere. It smells heavenly here. It's so quiet, it's so beautiful. So far, Blois has been an absolute treasure and pleasure to be in and to explore. From here you can see really beautiful views of La Loire, the river, and pretty much the valley itself, the city itself. We've been trying to come here for a while, but normally the tickets are kind of a little bit, but sometimes you can catch really good prices. And usually people come here, you know, because there are so many chateaux around the area, so they use it as a base, which is the right thing to do. For us,
we came specifically to see the city itself, and the city so far has been a treasure. The chateau, we spent about 3 hours in there. It's been an absolute gem to discover, because wherever you look, it's like a history book. Different buildings attached together from different epochs, different centuries, different architectural styles. It's just absolutely gorgeous overall. So far, the city, incredible. And there are bees everywhere. Sinan is already afraid of them a little bit. He was like, oh, they make him itchy. I love them. They're so cute. They keep on working. You got to see, like, you know, you can see the honeybees, you can see the bumblebees, you can see there's big black ones as well, but I don't know the name for them. But they're so cute. This city, wonderful.
I love this smell so much. I feel like I'm in just perfumery. There are so many different fragrances, and I just love this place so much.
Oh, the fragrance is incredible. This is Rose de Blois, so it's a local rose. It smells like, it's not too strong, but the essence is just, oh, it pierces you through. It's absolutely gorgeous. I don't want to leave this place. It's like we are in a perfumery by nature. It's so beautiful here. Gorgeous. Oh, the color. I love it.
L'église Saint-Vincent-de-Paul is the former church of Saint Louis of the Jesuits. Located in the city center of Blois opposite the château, it was built in the 17th century. The slow construction of the building was completed thanks to the donations of Gaston d'Orléans. Devastated during the Revolution, it was given back to the church in 1828 and restored by Jules de la Morandier from 1847.
A remarkable feature is that the facade of the building is facing southeast. Inside, we observe the 19th century painted decor. In 1793, the urn that protected the heart of Gaston d'Orléans was broken and his heart was thrown out.
We are done with everything that we found, that we've planned for today, for the city. Blois is absolutely incredible. We highly recommend this town. It is beautiful. It's about 1.5 hours away from Paris. Usually kind of expensive on the ticket, but check it before you go, before you plan. There is a little bit of a, you know, nod to the François I kind of architecture, you know, to Louis XII. All of this is kind of intertwined together. It gives this beautiful fabric of French culture, French history, especially pre-revolutionary stuff. You can see it all over the place, and it's just gorgeous. So we highly recommend it, and we think you should definitely come. And thank you so much for joining us. We will see you in the next episode, and if you like this episode, let us know. Comment, like, share and subscribe if you haven't yet, and until the next one, au revoir.